Every culture has its own myths and tales that try to make sense of the strange phenomena happening around them. While a lot of them continue to be passed on to the next generation, others have already been debunked by researchers who have tried to get to the bottom of these age-old mysteries. Let's explore the 8 legends solved by recent discoveries. What's up, Factnatics? This is Discovery Amuse, serving up your daily dose of the most outrageous, outlandish, and out-of-this-world fun facts. If you're curious about the legend of Blackbeard, then you'd better stay glued till number 1. You'll be amazed at what scientists have uncovered about the infamous pirate. Let's get time traveling. Number 8. The Real Pied Piper. The story of the Pied Piper of Hamelin isn't really your typical happy fairy tale. I mean, rats and hypnotized children are enough to give kids the worst of nightmares. But it actually gets even grimmer once you learn the backstory of this German legend. In the actual town of Hamelin in Lower Saxon, Germany, a stained glass window dated to around 1300 AD depicted the Pied Piper story. The actual window was destroyed in 1660, although some old manuscripts tell the tale of the image. According to the manuscripts, in the year 1284, a piper clothed in many colors seduced 130 children born in Hamelin, and they were lost at the place of execution near the Koppen. What's interesting is that there's no mention of rats in the earlier accounts, and they were only added to the story during the 16th century. Researchers have offered up a lot of theories about the tale of the Pied Piper, one of which was that the piper was a representation of the Black Death that took the lives of a lot of children. Another theory that the children were banished by their parents due to extreme poverty, but one of the darker theories suggests that the Pied Piper was actually a pedophile who abducted children while they slept. The true identity and motive of the Pied Piper is still a mystery, but at least now you know that his story was a real event in history. So, what's your best guess?
I don't know.
Keep watching because Captain Jack Sparrow has nothing on our number 1 entry. Number 7. The disappearance of a Pacific island. In the Solomon Islands, located in the southwestern portion of the Pacific Ocean, an island called Tioni Manu disappeared a long time ago, and locals have always believed that a man named Rorai Menu was responsible for it. Legend has it that Rorai Menu was left by his wife for another man. When Rorai Menu learned that the two eloped on the island of Tioni Manu, he quickly traveled to the island on a canoe to plant a curse on his cheating wife and her lover. When he arrived at the island, he planted 2 taro plants and kept one for himself to activate the curse. According to the curse, once his taro plant sprouts, a major catastrophe will befall Tiomanu Island. And that's exactly what happened. Huge waves crashed into the island and made it sink into the bottom of the ocean along with the cheating couple. Of course, it's hard to believe that a single man can cause such devastation, so scientists have offered up a more plausible explanation to the island's disappearance. Geologists believe that it was actually an earthquake that took the island, which had always teetered on the edge of a steep underwater slope. Once the tremors shook the foundation of the island, it generated tsunamis which might look like waves swallowing up the island whole. In short, the waves were the effect of the island's downfall, not the cause. Number 6. Shore temples in India. The town of Mahabalipuram in southern India attracts tourists the world over for its stunning stone temple that overlooks the shore of Bay of Bengal. According to local myth, there used to be 7 temples along the shore, but the god Indra became so jealous of the city that he conjured up a huge storm that essentially sank Mahabalipuram, leaving only the current shore temple above sea level. For centuries, there was no evidence of the submerged temples in the vicinity until a huge tsunami struck India in 2004. As the water pulled back over 500 meters right before the tsunami, tsunami, locals and visitors allegedly saw a long row of huge boulders emerge from the sea. The following year, the Indian Navy investigated the reported underwater structures, and lo and behold, they discovered the remains of 2 sunken temples and 1 cave temple. Since then, more temple ruins have been unearthed off the coast, which led scientists to believe that a tsunami during the 13th century might have caused the destruction. Could Indra's vengeance be real all this time? Number 5. 7,000-year-old rumor. An Aboriginal myth in Australia that's persisted for more than 7,000 years now tells the story of a massive explosion that caused the Earth to shatter and form a massive crater. It was followed by a pungent dust that swept through the skies, and people who walked through the haze altogether disappeared without a trace. Turns out, the legend could have been about the violent eruption of a now extinct volcano named Kinrara, located in northeastern Australia. Experts claim that the explosion would have easily covered the region in hot ash and lava, giving credence to the ancient oral accounts that have been passed down through more than 200 generations. Number 4. Hairs and Tears of Pele. In traditional Hawaiian culture, it is believed that the volcanoes are controlled by Pele, the goddess of fire and volcanoes, and the creator of the Hawaiian Islands. According to legend, Pele fled from her sister and buried herself in a pit at Mount Kilauea, considered one of the world's most active volcanoes. Whenever Kilauea erupts, it is said that Pele's hairs and tears are scattered around the volcano. However, plain old physics helps explain this phenomenon.
What do we know from this?
The hair-like strands are actually the results of lava flying through the air, getting stretched thinly and solidifying into glassy strands. Meanwhile, Pele's tears are caused by the same natural process, and they sometimes attach to the end of Pele's hair. Although looking at these strange natural specimens, we really can't blame the locals for coming up with such romantic folklore.
Wow.
Number 3. Car parking. That's Car Park King. Legend has it that when King Richard III died in 1485 during the Battle of Bosworth, his body was put on display for 3 days to prove that he was indeed a goner, before his remains were hastily laid to rest at the Church of Greyfriars in Leicester, England. For years, people didn't want to believe that King Richard's remains were actually laying under a parking lot. This despite archaeologists excavating his alleged skeleton among the buried relics of the friary in 2012. Fast forward to 2014, and the DNA test has proven that the bones were indeed that of King Richard. This was confirmed by geneticists of the University of Leicester, who matched the king's DNA with that of modern-day relatives of Richard III's sister. In March 2015, his remains were given a proper burial service where actor Benedict Cumberbatch even read a poem dedicated to the fallen king.
Frail. My skull, scarred by a crown, emptied of history.
Number 2. Explosion over Korea. Based on philosophical texts, it is said that on March 11, 1437, during the Joseon era, a huge explosion lit up the skies of Korea. The flash lasted for 2 whole weeks, leading people to believe it was a divine phenomenon. However, in 2017, researchers had shed some light on the age-old mystery. While some people believed it was the birth of a new star, studies have shown that it might actually be a nova. A nova is caused by the collision of a white dwarf and a companion star, which results in a massive explosion that is visible on Earth. Imagine a star sucking the life out of another star like a vampire until it gets too big and just collapses.
That didn't go so great.
Must have been the most epic fireworks display ever. Before we go to our number 1 pick, do us a solid and make sure to smash the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. Don't forget to choose all so you won't miss out on any of our latest life-changing, boredom-busting content. And of course, be sure to turn on notifications in your app settings. Number 1. Blackbeards Ship. Around 1715, Captain Edward Teach, also known as Blackbeard, gained notoriety for being the most feared pirate in the Caribbean and North America. Earning its own reputation was the Queen Anne's Revenge, the flagship vessel of Blackbeard's small fleet of pirate ships. When Queen Anne's Revenge was grounded in 1718 in Beaufort, North Carolina, and Blackbeard was consequently killed in a battle with British ships, the pirate vessel basically remained undiscovered until 1996, when the alleged shipwreck was found by private salvagers. It wasn't until 2011 that authorities confirmed that it was indeed the remains of the infamous Queen Anne's Revenge. Some of the artifacts they found in the shipwreck include a bell with the year 1705 engraved on it, apothecary weights with fleur-de-lis stamps, and a small amount of gold. And there you have it, our countdown of the 8 legends solved by recent discoveries. Which of these absolutely blew you away? Let us know in the comments section below. Take home any of our exclusive gear by browsing our merch shelf or clicking the link in the video description. And while you're at it, take our quiz to find out how you can earn extra cash online doing what you do best. Awesome, right? Want to unlock more mind-blowing mysteries? Then be sure to check out our list of the 12 popular tricks and illusions exposed. Till then, stay inquisitive, Factnatics, and see you in the next video.